Hey, this is Pete from the Coop Pinball in Escondido, California. Came in today to do a little work, basically upgrading all the speakers on these 4 WPCs. They're 4-ohm speakers, so I'm going to switch them out to the same thing, 4-ohm, but just put a second bigger speaker in. So essentially 2 new speakers per game. Seems pretty simple. So I got 4, I figured I'd do them all at once. But in doing so, I noticed I had 3 different style ColorDmds on this. So I decided to do a video on ColorDmD, the traditional one we've all been buying for years. Simple plug and play, about $550 now, versus the new RetroCity DmD display that is running about $230 shipped to California. I've bought quite a few of these in the last few months. The service is fantastic, product is awesome, but in talking about them, I've heard a lot of people say that the hardware, that they say they can see the difference. They say when they look at them, they know immediately that one's one and one's not. So I'm going to prove that the hardware is almost the same. At least I think it is. So what we have, with the ColorDmD, they have their own ROMs that they've made that you can load and unload yourself pretty easily through a USB stick. With the RetroCity, they preload it on there for you. The files they're using. Alright, 8-ball deluxe. The files they're using are from the virtual pin community. So if the virtual pin community does not have a good animation made, then it's not going to look that good. But in some cases, the animations for the virtual pins are actually better than the originals that came on the machines. They're refined. They have added more colors. More bits. Sometimes they look even better. So it's hit or miss. Maybe we should start reviewing which ones look good and which ones look bad. So in that case, these are much easier to load and unload. I have not tried to load my own ROMs onto these just because they come pre-loaded. Once it goes in my machine, it's staying in there. In this case, it's Roadshow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these apart and see what the actual display board is, to see if they're the same. And without even taking them apart, I can almost tell that they are. So if we look at the RetroCity one, this whole back board is actually a circuit board. You have your power in coming here, which looks like it hits some traces that go over to here, then jump into the display, and then there must be more traces that come over this way, jump into the display. On the pin ColorDmD, you have your power coming in, then it looks like it jumps out right here, goes under the board, over to here, and then jumps over to here. Very similar to what this does. This one just does it through their own proprietary board in the same way. So I also noticed the jumper ribbon cable is in the same spot. So essentially, this is a little older design. They made this design years ago. This is a huge metal bracket that holds the whole thing together. RetroCity is actually using the circuit board to hold everything together. So it's one piece versus 2 displays, a big piece of metal, and then their board on top of it. So, I mean, like I said, this could just be older tech. This is a newer, more efficient way of doing it. That could be why the price is cheaper. But we're going to take these apart and see what we see once we get to the displays. So my first step was basically disconnecting this, one side of the ribbon cable, disconnecting this, so that everything, this has holes in the actual circuit board, so these will slide right through. This one's going to be a lot easier. I actually might not take it apart. So unhook these. They come over here. I can actually see these boards, so I'm not going to take this one apart yet. I'll take this one apart just to see if they look similar. Well, that was pretty simple. So it's basically 8 screws. It looks like on this side, okay, so let's start here. This one has a ribbon cable that comes out. Looks like it goes somewhere and it must land on a connector right at the beginning of this board, underneath this board, on the display over there, kind of like this guy right here. On this one, I think that is the ribbon cable. They just use pins and it plugs directly into the back of the display. So I don't want to take that apart. But I was able to take this side off pretty easily. And they're identical. There's no difference. This one, if you look, hub 75. Sorry, it's not focusing right away. And you look over at this one, hub 75. These are the same exact displays. There is no difference. Try to get them a little closer. So there you have it. Hardware wise, the display panels themselves are identical. The hardware difference is the separate circuit board on this one versus the fully integrated circuit board / mounting board. So essentially they got rid of all this metal and just used the board as the display holder. Pretty good engineering if you ask me. So far so good. With everyone I've bought has been perfect. They come quickly, about 7 days quick shipping time. Customer service has been fantastic. One of the times I made a mistake by not reading the instructions all the way, they got back to me within about 20 minutes. By that time I already figured out if I would have read the instructions, I would have figured my own issue out. But that's that. So yeah, that's it. So these are actually this style DMD, just so you know. The kind of, dot style display like the older version. They're not the flat panel style like this. Anyway, this is Pete from the Coop Pinball Arcade in Escondido, California. Thanks for watching.